Sir, having been in the profession from 50 years, have you ever regretted that you were an advocate?
Definitely not. This profession is one of the...
Or any incident which made you to feel?
Absolutely not. This profession is one of the intellectually most challenging of professions. I don't think any other profession has gives you as much mental stimulation as this profession of law.
So how did you shift your practice from the trial court to the high court, sir?
It was gradual. You know, when you have a case in the trial court, you succeed, the other side takes it to the high court, or you lose, then you take it to the high court. So that's how you do it. And fortunately for me, you know, father was there. I didn't have the capacity to open an independent office, so I had to share his office. And it was a small office. I was in one corner. I didn't have a table. I didn't have an independent chair. Well, that was life. And as I said, you know, that is a time when you will not regret. Though at that stage, you know, you are frustrated. At that stage, you know, you think that, you know, well, you know, should I choose some other profession?
Correct. Sir, a lot of youngsters are now in a dilemma. They graduate, they come to profession, they don't know whether to start in the high court, start in the trial court, or go to Supreme. Some may be even able to afford to go to Supreme Court. So what would be your advice on...
My advice to all youngsters is start from the trial court, because you must be able to cross-examine people, a litigant. Even in the biggest of arbitration, even if it be 1,000 crores, 2,000 crores, you have to necessarily cross-examine witnesses. And unless you are in a position to do so, you will be a failure.
So the art of cross-examination.
It's very, very important. Secondly, you know what, when you are into litigation, you know what the pitfalls are in agreements, lease deeds, in documentation, even transaction documentation, the contractual terms. You will be a better lawyer, even as a transaction lawyer, if you have some experience and exposure to litigation. My advice is, at least, you know, go to trial court for about 2 or 3 years with a good senior. With whom you can have interaction, with some little amount of work, and you are a better lawyer thereafter.
So what you're saying is trial court practice is a foundation for your profession.
Absolutely. I started my career there, and I would recommend it to every youngster.
So what's your daily routine, sir?
Get up at 7:30. After that, I do yoga for about 45 minutes, because health is a very important ingredient in one's success. So I was doing karate earlier. Thereafter, once I stopped karate after about 6-7 years, I shifted to yoga. Have my lunch, no coffee, no tea, no breakfast. Have lunch at about 9:30. Come to the office, go to court, then come back home. Maybe, you know, take a nap for about 20 minutes, because I come back to the office at about 7 and I'm there till about 12:30. Take home homework. Maybe I sleep at 1:30 or 2, because work of the lawyer, as I said, is 24/7, 365 days. And a client expects you to do your best. I remember my father telling me that if somebody gives you 10 rupees, you must give him 100 rupee worth of work, not take 100 rupees and give him a 10 rupee worth of work. I followed that motto of his, and thanks to him, he has been a guide from that angle. The honesty, integrity, the diligence with which, you know, he conducted cases, the way he conducted himself both inside and outside the court, really inspired me, and I said I should follow those qualities of his, and made it a part of my life as well.
So we know that you work very late in the night. Can you recollect your last appointment given in the last 50 years to a client?
Even at 1:30 also.
1:30 in the morning, AM, when all others will be sleeping.
No, there was one incident where there was a company petition filed. The previous day evening, you know, the petition was given to us, which was about 400 pages. So the whole night I did not sleep. The client was there with me. We drafted it till morning 7 o'clock. the objections. He took me home for my bath, came back at 8, completed the dictation, completed the pleadings, submitted to the court, and we ensured that there was no interim order.
Good. Sir, how do you relax? Do you relax?
During the vacations, and I take my family out. Summer, winter, Dasara vacations are the time when I am able to go with them. I have to leave Bangalore because if I am in Bangalore, in the office, I am more busy during those days because 10 to 5 I am available for the client. Whereas during the court working days, and I am not available between 10 and 5. So that's the only way, one can relax.
Sir, Saturdays are usually holidays for the high courts and Sunday is a holiday for the courts. What are your routine on those days?
Saturday afternoon, I take off. Earlier, my younger one, was not well, so I used to take him to airlines or some other hotels, spend time with him. Now on Saturday evening, I spend time with my grandchildren.
How old are your grandchildren, sir?
One is 5 and one is 10. Both are girls. Very endearing children.
Could you just tell their names, sir?
Tara and Swara.
Beautiful. Do you cook, sir?
No.
What's your favorite dish?
There's nothing like it. I like South Indian food. Even when I go abroad, I go in search of some restaurant where they can serve me South Indian food. Because it's light on your tummy.
Have you tried chilled beer, sir, anytime?
No, thank you.
This is the latest movie that you have watched in a theatre.
The last
do you
time,
go to movies, see movies?
I used to go, during my younger days when I was a lawyer. But of late, I've had no time.
Do you recollect any of those movies that you have watched with your wife, perhaps?
The last one was, we went to a theatre, some 1 month back. That was an English movie called Mission Impossible or something.
During the good old days, sir?
It used to be English movies. Mostly it used to be English movies. And Plaza Theatre, Lido and Liberty and Rex, especially the Rex, were the theatres in which we used to go. Not very often, but at least once in a month we used to go. But all those pleasures are not available now in this busy schedule of one. The more and more busy, more and more senior a lawyer becomes, more and more busy he becomes in the profession. So that's the plight of all lawyers, I suppose.
So your karate, has it helped you in your profession, sir?
Definitely. It gives you more discipline. It enables you to relax. I've always said this. When you play chess, you can be tense, you can be relaxed. Depends on your mindset. You will have to change your mindset. Initially, I had no vehicle. I couldn't afford a vehicle. So I had to travel along with my father in his car. I would drive. And my father was one who would never leave the house in time, never leave the court, even beyond court hours, 4:30, he'll leave the court only at 5. So in the morning, I used to have some small company matters. So 10:30, we had one stentorian judge, who would dismiss it. So I used to get tensed up. Then ultimately I decided there's no point in being tense. If it is dismissed, file one application, seek for restoration, plead with the judge. And that's how I said that ultimately it is this change of mindset. I would recommend it to all the lawyers. Management techniques have to be evolved and made a part of your life. Time management, work management, office management, man management, how you manage your juniors. Management techniques are never taught in law school.
Correct.
I wish, they are. Especially time management.
Time management. So my question was, karate as self-defense in the court hall.
You can't use karate there. In fact, once you start karate, you know the power that you have. You are mortally afraid of using it anywhere. I remember once, I went to a movie theatre. The usher was, so rude. In fact, he raised his hand. In the normal circumstances, I would have beaten him up. But then knowing the power that I have and the ability to use my karate techniques, I just cooled down. I said, I myself told him sorry, though he was at fault. So these are the things that, when you know the power that you have, you are always, conscious of it and you will never use it.
Yes. Sir, are you a family man?
If you ask me what is the definition of family, family men, always, are always available with the family. No, I am not. But then, during vacation, during holidays, I do take care of when I go with my family, take them out. Because ultimately, as I said, half of my success is to them. So I owe a duty and an obligation to them.
So you have quality time for the family also?
During vacations, yes. But during court hours, court working days, it may not be there.
So which is your favorite sport, sir?
I used to play golf. And then, since the last 4 years, it's somehow stopped because all my companions, who were there, have all either passed away or they have moved. So,
Cricket, what is your...
Cricket I used to play, in the street behind our house when I was a kid. Thereafter...
But you are also having the association where you're the captain of the cricket team and all that.
It was a figurehead. There are better players than me. I'm not a good player in cricket. But then, they said, no, you have to be because you are a figurehead. You are far older than all of us. So they put me there.
Sir, I remember once you had told me this, you had appeared for a lorry driver. By then you were already a senior advocate. Can you just recollect that incident?
I think it was a factory worker. See, what had happened was, this factory worker was dismissed. I had to file a case. I succeeded. He was hardly getting about 600 rupees a month. I'm sure his salary wouldn't have lasted him and his family for more than 15 or 20 days in a month. After the case was over, he wanted to give me fees. I said, look, you won't be able to afford because I was by then charging about 1 lakh rupees. He said, no sir, I want to give you. I said, no, not needed. He gave me 50 rupees. But that, I accepted it. But for him, that 50 rupees is worth lakhs of rupees. For me, it may be nothing. But then, that 50 rupees, the sentiment behind it was far greater than anything else for me to refuse. I accepted it and I was keeping that 50 rupee note for a long, long time.
So what is the role played by an advocate in the society?
He is able to give succor to the people. Now look at the High Court itself. There are more than 50% of the litigation is against the government. They are not able to get relief in the government. Therefore, they come here to the High Court in a writ petition. And if you are able to give them relief, I think you have done social service for them. And there can't be a better thing than that. As Justice Krishna here said, if you are able to wipe out the tears of even a single person, the happiness that you get out of it is far greater than all the riches of life. So that's how it is. They are able to give succor to the people. After all, Constitution provides for fundamental rights. How do you enforce the fundamental rights? How do you give them succor and relief? You go to the court. So, as lawyers, every day in the High Court. You are able to give them relief. You are able to ensure that their fundamental rights are protected fully.
They are the basic needs.
Absolutely.
Sir, I know you are a voracious reader, but I also know the fact that many times you have quoted about Dr. Shivram Karanth. Apart from the legal books, do you read any other books?
I used to read a lot, but now, in the profession, as you progress in the profession, time factor, is getting reduced for other activities, including reading. But I used to read a lot. I used to, every day, every Saturday, I would go to a bookshop, Premier Bookshop in Church Street.
Church Street.
Because today it is not there. And used to buy books on Saturday evening, read on different subjects. As lawyers, if you have general knowledge, if you are a well-read man, you are in a better position to articulate your clients' cases.
You have a role model, sir, in life.
As I said, my grandfather and father were role models. Apart from that, there were a number of seniors whom I emulated. I would sit in the court whenever there is a good argument by a senior counsel or even a junior counsel. I would sit and then watch them. It teaches you so much. From observation, you can mend your ways of your presentation, acquire knowledge. There were a couple of them. In fact, there were one lawyer in the trial court, Sri N.S. Krishnan.
Correct.
He is no more.
Yes.
Very erudite lawyer. Whenever I had free time in the trial court in between cases, I would sit with him and then discuss. These are the people who inspire you, who teach you, who are the role models. More than anything else, as I said, my father, I looked at him. The way he worked, the honesty and the transparency that he exhibited in his life, both as a professional and outside, was something which is to be emulated. In fact, when clients came, he would study the case. If there was no case, he will tell them, please go, don't waste money on me. That kind of an honesty, I said I must emulate it. And I started from the very inception that if the clients did not have a case worth fighting, I would tell them not to waste money on me. In the short run, you are loser. In fact, I remember my friends cracking jokes about me, saying that do you want to maintain your family or not? I said it doesn't matter. I wouldn't want a surgeon to operate me for something which I don't have, or a doctor to treat me for an ailment which I don't have. Honesty and integrity and transparency must be your value-based professional attitude. And that's what I have followed. Therefore, I believe that my father was also a role model for me.
So how do you feel when you are a role model for so many advocates like me?
First thing that I've always said is that in your career, in your behavior, both inside and outside the court, as seniors, you must be exemplary in your attitude, in your behavior, and that is what people look at, and then they will start emulating.
ಬೇರೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳು ತಾವು ಓದ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್?
ಓದಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ತುಂಬ ಓದಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಶಿವರಾಮ್ ಕಾರಂತರದ್ದು ಓದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಭೈರಪ್ಪನವರದ್ದು ಎರಡು ಮೂರೆಲ್ಲ ಓದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಹಿಂದೆ ಪುರುಷೋತ್ತಮನ ಸಾಹಸಗಳು ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾಯಿತ್ತು. ಚಿಕ್ಕವರಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನು ಸುಮಾರು ಒಂದು 70-80 ಓದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ that is what has inspired me to go and join the criminal lawyer's office in the initial stage. Then ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಮ್ಯಾಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅದು ನೋಡುವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾಕೋ ಅದು ಸರಿ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸೈಡ್ಗೆ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರುವಾದೆ.
ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ?
ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಹಿಂದೆ ಇವರು ಯಾರವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಪನಾ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂಥ ಮೂವಿಗಳನ್ನು ಸುಮಾರು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಪುಟ್ಟಣ್ಣ ಕಣಗಲ್ ಅವರ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಡೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ.
ಸರ್, ತಾವು ಕನ್ನಡ ನಟರಿಗೆ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಿ?
ಹೌದು. ಶ್ರೀ ಉಪೇಂದ್ರ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ರಿಷಬ್ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿಯವರ ಪರವಾಗಿಯೂ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ರಿಷಬ್ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಅವರು ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಳಗಿನ ಕೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಸೂಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ಅದು ಮೂವಿ ಏನು ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂಥೇಳಿ. ಆವಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದರು, ನಾವು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಆ ಸ್ಟೇನ ವೇಕೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದೇ ಥರನೇ ಈ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಡೇ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಈ ವಾರ್ನರ್ ಬ್ರದರ್ಸ್ ಅವರು ಅದನ್ನು ಮೂವಿ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ $billion ಗ್ರಾಸರ್. ಮೈಸೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸೂಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಆ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅಂತ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಮೈಸೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೂಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಂಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ನಾನು ಎಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ನಟರಿಗೆ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಹಿಂದಿ ಇವರಿಗೂ ಎಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ.
ಸರ್, ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಿಂದ ಹಲವಾರು ಜನ ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮಷ್ಟು ಸೌಕರ್ಯ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಲೈಬ್ರರಿ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಅವರು ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಪಾರ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿ ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಆರ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಮೆಟ್ರೋಪಾಲಿಟನ್ ಸಿಟೀಸ್. ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಾವು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಅವರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಸಂದೇಶ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕು ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಪೆನೇಷಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಒಂದು. ಎರಡನೇದಾಗಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷನ್ನು ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು. ಎರಡನೇದಾಗಿ ಈ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಈಗ ನೀವು ಬೇರೆ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳ ಕೇಸ್ ಲಾನ ನೋಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು. ಎರಡನೇದಾಗಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ. ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಈ ನೀವು ಉಗುರು ಕಚ್ಚೋಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದು ಮರ್ತೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಆಟೋಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಾಯಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವುದು? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬೆರಳು. ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ. ಈ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಸಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಲಾಯರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ತಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಎ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್.
Did you encounter any ethical dilemma, sir?
Absolutely not. It depends on what you do. If you have strictly followed your own ethics and ensured that you don't misbehave or do anything untoward, then I think you don't come across that kind of a dilemma at all.